On the 4th of December 1963, the Second Vatican Council promulgated its first major constitution, the Sacrosanctum Concilium, that is, the Constitution on the Sacred Liturgy. In Chapter 1 of this document, the Council stated that Christ is always present in His Church, especially in our liturgical celebrations. Christ is present in the person of His minister. Christ is present in the Eucharistic species. Christ is present in His Word. And finally, Christ is present in the community that has come together in His name. The Council Fathers, no doubt, must have heard the words of Jesus in today's Gospel. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there in their midst. This gathering of God's people is what Matthew's Gospel calls the ecclesia, that is, the church. And there are certain characteristics that distinguishes this community from other communities. It is a community guided by the rule of love. The love that St. Paul tells us in our second reading is the only obligation of the Christian. But this love comes with a responsibility, and this sets the tone for today's liturgy. As Christians and as members of the church, we have a responsibility towards one another, a responsibility to speak and correct fraternally, a responsibility to respect one another, and a responsibility to resolve conflicts and to forgive. First, we have a responsibility to speak. In the first reading, the prophet Ezekiel speaks of the role of the watchman to warn of danger. We have a moral duty to speak the truth about right and wrong, whether to our society or to individuals. There are different ways of doing it, but as Christians, can we be silent when there are attacks on innocent life, when our society is going in the wrong moral direction, when people we know are damaging themselves? The Lord says through Ezekiel that we have the duty to speak. To say nothing is to become morally complicit in the wrong another does. There is a duty to respect another. In the second reading, St. Paul lists in his letter to the Romans the duties of love. Do not kill. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not covet. We can state them in a positive way. We have the responsibility to respect another's life. We have the responsibility to respect another's marriage, to respect another's property, and to respect another's integrity. Finally, the Gospel reading goes a bit deeper into our responsibility in dealing with conflicts. In the first centuries of the Christian church, punishment for serious sin was often harsh and public. Public sinners were brought before the community and forced to dress in sackcloth and ashes for some time before being brought back into the community. Today, Jesus teaches us about reconciliation within the community. He instructs us on the steps to be taken when someone in our midst has hurt us or sinned against us. Jesus tells us to first address the issue privately, seeking reconciliation and understanding. If that does not bring resolution, we are encouraged to involve 1 or 2 others, and if still necessary, involve the entire community. This brings to bear the importance of forgiveness and the healing power it holds. It also emphasizes the significance of unity in the community and the role we play in supporting one another in our journey of faith. And so as we go about our activities today and this week, let us ask ourselves, am I quick to judge and condemn others? Or do I approach conflict with a heart of reconciliation and forgiveness? Am I actively engaged in building up and supporting my community, recognizing my responsibility to help guide others back to the path of righteousness? And am I truly giving out the commandment to love one another, showing compassion and kindness to all? Ultimately, let us remember that Christian love is not a feeling or an emotion. It is a responsibility. The greatest harm we can do to people when they face spiritual danger is to do nothing and just look the other way.